Let's get into some market stats. Let's start with days on market. Days on market climbed quite a bit this last month, going from just 12 and a half days for getting a house under contract in the Sacramento area to this past month, 17 and a half days on average. It's a pretty big jump. It went from 12 to 17. That's actually pretty typical for this time of year. We're starting to see this normal seasonality. As summer ends, we start getting into fall. It takes longer for homes to sell. So now we're starting to see some of this normalcy that for the last couple of years kind of got paved over by crazy low interest rates and COVID and all of that. Next up, home supply. Home supply actually remained pretty much unchanged from August to September. We were at 8.5 weeks of inventory. That means if we stopped listing homes for sale right now, it would take 8.5 weeks on average for everything to get sold out. That's still, historically speaking, very, very, very low inventory. It's actually kind of unusual for this time of year for our inventory to be stable like it was from August to September. As I mentioned before, days on market went up. What we're seeing is the number of homes listed for sale each week is actually remaining pretty consistent. My theory on that, the vast majority of people that we're seeing selling their homes right now are typically doing it out of some sort of necessity. They're moving, their families are growing, and they just can't fit in that. Some life event where they have to sell their home. And we might be seeing a sort of floor where there's just a minimum number of sales that are going to happen in any given time period because life happens. And so people just need to sell or buy a home. Last but not least is price. Price actually also remained pretty much unchanged from August to September. The Sacramento region, it was $575,000 for the average single family home sold in the greater Sacramento area. This is actually pretty normal also for this time of year. As we get out of the busy season, we start to see a softening in prices. So I wouldn't be surprised if next month when we come back, we see prices either staying about the same or dropping just a little bit. Usually that continues until July or January or February of the following year. But if interest rates keep going up like they have been, that might actually take a lot more wind out of the sales of the market. So we'll see. This month's homeownership tip, like I've been mentioning, seasons are changing. We're getting into fall. So that means for you homeowners out here or renters, this is a good thing to make sure you're doing too. It's time for fall prep. That means doing things for the outside of your house to make sure you're ready before the rainy season. Clean your gutters, get your roof checked out, make sure any minor holes don't turn into major ones over this next year. You're getting a roofer out there to do a quick look over, make sure everything's patched and nailed down appropriately. Also checking for slipped or cracked tiles if you've got a tile roof. Again, little problem, easy fix now, could turn into a big problem down the road when there's a big rainstorm coming through. So make sure you're addressing that now when it's nice and easy. Also, now is the time to trim back any trees or bushes that are touching your house, especially any branches that look like they've grown quite a bit and are hanging over your home. Do it now before it starts to get crazy windy. Like we saw last year, a lot of those branches that were hanging over homes unfortunately made their way down to on the home and caused a lot of damage. So now's the time to make sure you're doing some of that tree trimming. Also, check out your drainage. Make sure that your gutters are working properly and sending water away from your house and away from your foundation. Do it now before the rainy season really starts. It's tough to get landscapers out when it really starts to get muddy and wet because a lot of people need them, and it's tough to do work when it's outside and raining. Also, get ready for cooler weather. Check to make sure any gaps in your windows and your doors are sealed. Really easy solution. You can go to Home Depot and get that insulation stuff. Save yourself a lot of money on heating. Also, now is the time to make sure you're changing your air filters and get your heater tuned up now. If you start to have a heating issue when it's 30 degrees out, it's going to be tough to get an HVAC person to go out there and service it. So do it now while it's cool out, but not so cold that you're actually going to miss it, so you can catch these issues early. And then last but not least, taking care of those plants, making sure that you're mulching and fertilizing your plants now and doing some of that tree trimming. Once the leaves start falling off, you can start cutting them back, and that makes for a nice healthy growth for the following spring. And finally, we'll end on mortgage rates. For today, this week, mortgage rates are at an average of 7.6% as of right now. That unfortunately is quite a bit higher than last month, which was 6.9% around this time. And that's going to mean that the same monthly payment, 7.6 compared to a 6.9%, is going to cost you about $145 more per month. Stay tuned. Hopefully, we'll start to see these rates drop down. But I've seen some forecasts saying we might see 8% interest rates before the end of the year. So who knows? Again, timing the market, it's a really tough game to get into. See you next time.